All right, guys, welcome into Sporting160. This is episode number 51. No Danny tonight, so Christian here, and I'll be your host for today's pod. So I'm joined by Nando. Nando, what's up, buddy?
Hey man, what's going on? We get a win under our belt, man.
First win in months. So
Yeah, man, it felt weird, but hey, a win's a win.
and Steph, what's up, buddy?
Not much. I feel the same way. A win is a win, and that's 3 points. Now we're just 2 points away.
Yeah. I guess we have a slim lead on Porto, and 2 points off Braga and world beaters Famalicão. So first, let's just get right into the game here. So I'll read off the lineups here. Sporting had Renan Ribeiro in net, Thierry Correia, Sebastian Coates, Jeremy Mathieu, and Marcos Acuna in the back line. Doumbia, Wendell, Bruno Fernandes in midfield. Rafinha, Diaby, and Luis Felipe up top. And I'll run through Braga's as well. They had Mateus in goal, Esgaio, Bruno Viana, Pablo, and Siqueira in the back line. Andre Horta, Claudemir, and Fran Sergio in their midfield. And they had out wide Ricardo Horta, Wilson Eduardo, and Hassan up top. So we'll start with you, Steph. What'd you think of the game, man? Actually, we'll go to Nando first. Steph just disconnected, but he'll be back. All right, Nando, what'd you think of the game, man?
Cool, man. So the game was a bit confusing for me, man. Like parts of the game, I thought, especially at the beginning, I thought we came out real well. I think we kind of asserted ourselves. I think we definitely took the time to go ahead and start to build our play. Create some opportunities, put some pressure early on. I think that was pretty noticeable. I'd say probably even the first 30 minutes overall was Spartan's best phase of the game. Um, so that was really good to watch, especially showing Spartan showed some that intensity that it missed against Maritimo. They showed some clear decision making. I think with a lot of our ball construction and just play from the back up. Um, so that was cool, right? So we get in a goal early from Wendell. That's always good to kind of calm those nerves down. And then we finish off the half as good as we could. Now, when Bruno Fernandes scores that goal, which, mind you, I think we'd all agree is a very good goal. Horrible position in defending by Braga that just lets him completely take that ball away and just kind of dictates the rest of that. But we get that goal in. That was at a very important part of the game, right? I mean, Sporting was starting to let Braga get ahead of us and just kind of start to do their thing. The rest of the game, I think Braga took over. Minus one or two somewhat opportunities. Braga ended up really putting the pressure on, so much so they scored the goal with Wilson Eduardo. And then it became another typical Sporting stressful situation, man. I did not like the way we went about defending the rest of the game. I mean, they outshot us, more shots on target, more shots overall, ultimately a little bit more possession. But games like these are very important, man. I don't care so much about how we perform in games like these because, these are toss-up games in my opinion. You know what I mean? Playing against Braga, Porto, Benfica at this point, or any point of the season, it could go either way at any time. And the important thing was that we managed to survive, get a very good win. And at this point, especially like you said at the beginning of the podcast, like our first win in a long time. So that's all I cared about at this point. But I think we saw a two-faced Sporting, right? A really clear, good team for certain parts of the game, and then finished off with that side of us that we're all like, we don't want to see that team anymore.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. It was good to see the opening of that. Maybe start to think maybe we've turned the page, came to play in a big game. I think that if that early goal doesn't go in, maybe things are a bit different. Steph, what'd you think?
I feel the same way as Nando just described the whole game. We had a good 20 to 25 minutes. Sporting was actually looking pretty good, and I was like, wow, it's going to be a nice, comfortable game. and then we took a dump. All of a sudden, we went down the spiral, and nose down. And for some odd reason, uh, we it seems like we're not prepared physically. But we have no excuse of a poor preseason like we did last year. That the attack in the academy, that was not the case in this summer. But me specifically, I think the poor preparation physically, mentally, and acquisition of players, it's not really only a Sporting problem, but it's becoming more and more many clubs' problem. If I don't know if you guys remember back in the days, they used to go to a specific location for a preseason, lock themselves for like a whole month, and then prepare the team physically, um, and also mentally, because it's normal to come back from vacation with a few extra kilos or pounds here in America, and then that's why you have the preseason to regain your form. But when you go to Switzerland, when you go to Belgium, then you go to the United States, is that really a preseason? So I think the question is, should clubs go back to what it used to be? You go to one specific location and you focus yourself really physically and mentally as far as learning the tactics of your coach and focusing on that. Because our team at the end of the game, they look exhausted. I thought they played extra time. I thought they went into PKs. I mean, you saw players laying down on the pitch, and I was like, what the hell? That was just 90 minutes plus 93 minutes of a game. Okay, which a good opponent because they have more rhythm. They have played so far, well, up to Sunday. That was their fifth game because of the playoff in the Liga Europa, Europa Liga. But I don't know if you guys agree with me. You can jump in, but I think physically our team is not at the point that should be to sustain 90 minutes of high intensity and high competition with good teams. Or what do you guys think?
Um, I'll jump in real quick on that, man. I agree with a lot of that. I agree with the fact that it's pretty obvious that we're just not all there. And I'm gonna say I'll even take it a step further and I'll say that almost we look mentally exhausted. Um, there's moments like I don't know how to describe it. Like for example, there was a couple goal kicks that Bruno Fernandes took the ball from the back, right out of the our own goal, and there was just moments that the team just looked like fatigued mentally, just fatigued overall. Like, all right, here we go again. Let's build this up. Let's go going. And then the ball gets passed right back. There was a play somewhat in the second half, if I recall correctly, like Mathieu was up going from the back forward, like really pushing forward and hoping a ball was going to get played into him because he was in a good position. The ball didn't, and he just looked really like not only pissed off, but just like disheartened or just unmotivated to go back and play defense on that possession. I don't know, man. I don't know why they're that way, right? Because the attack on the academy is gone. It's over with, right? And why is it that the team still continues already? This is the second game, third game, right? Benfica, the first official game, and now these two. So why is this still happening? I don't know. But I think it's a mix between literal fatigue, like they're just out of shape or something, or just like mentally not there yet. Like they're still on vacation mentally.
Yeah, and it bothers me that they went to Switzerland, Belgium, the United States. I mean, I was happy they came to the Yankee Stadium. Don't get me wrong, because I went to watch the game. But to me, it's more of vacationing than a preparation of a preseason. And why am I saying this? Because after the game with Braga, they were all exhausted, and we got lucky to get away with the win. Because to be honest with you, Braga at least deserved the tie, the 2-2. They had enough chances of getting 1 point out of José Alvalade. They didn't get it because we had the luck of our side, and the best player of the pitch to me was Reina. It was not Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes had a great game, but Reina saved Sporting against Braga, and we need games like that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'll take the win, but I'm not blind. I see a team that's exhausted physically. They couldn't sustain 90 minutes. The players were exhausted. So again, uh, I think Kaiser is too soft for this team. His philosophy of giving them days off. I think they were off one today. Today they didn't practice at all.
Yeah, they were off today.
Yeah, they were off today. Last week it was a 1 day off as well. After
No, it was
Benfica,
2 days off last week, actually.
yeah, after Benfica it was 2 games off. So I don't get it, bro. I seriously don't get it. We pay X amount of money, which now we see a problem it could cause. Look at Bas Dost. We thought it would be resolved by today, and it's not resolved. And then the German team is saying by Friday.
If anything, it's worse now.
Yeah, it's worse, much worse, because his agent wants more money now all of a sudden.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna hop in and play devil's advocate for the preseason tours. I kind of like the idea of bringing the new team together, kind of isolating themselves in rural Switzerland. They don't have their families there. It's just basically team building. You see them do that like initiation stuff for new players where they have to like stand on a chair and sing. I think all that stuff is good. For chemistry, for team building, all that stuff. The problem is, what are we actually doing in terms of training on the field? Whatchamacallit, running, or how in shape are we getting? And, I understand that, we were in Switzerland, we were in Belgium, we were in the United States. We did a small lap of the world there. I'd prefer it to be one location and to do all of it there and be there for 3 weeks, as opposed to being 1 week here, 3 days there, 4 days there, because then it's just gruesome travel. That's a lot of traveling. So I do like the idea of setting up a camp somewhere without distractions, without families, without friends, without or the nightlife that we know, and just kind of isolating ourselves in an unfamiliar location to kind of force the team to grow together and hang out with each other at all hours. It just kind of leads into the question of, what kind of conditioning work is Kaiser doing? What kind of tactical work is he doing? How hard is he being on them? Is he even raising his voice? So I guess we can just kind of segue into the discussion of Kaiser, because he's been getting a lot of heat recently, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing up. What did you guys think of his substitutions? Because to me, his substitutions reeked of a man who was scared and was playing weak, subbing in Neto and Eduardo to kind of, shore up the result and play a back five with two defensive midfielders. What did you guys think?
I'll jump in real quick on this one. I think that's exactly, man. I think it was more than clear that that's exactly what he was trying to do. I mean, bringing in Neto and Eduardo was that easy move of like, all right, if I make this move, majority of people are going to agree that that's somewhat the right move to make, if not the correct move altogether to make. Adding defensive players, but I guess taking the initiative of the game still at that point. They're controlling it. They're attacking. They're creating opportunities. But it was like a very conservative move. It was a very easy move to make. It was a move that, like, the move you make on, like, if you're playing Football Manager on the computer. You know what I mean? Like, it's. I think the players are responding to him in a very conservative manner, man. Honestly, I think that they just know that the team revolves around Bruno Fernandes. I think that the team just knows that they go as he goes, and they're just kind of like, hoping each game just goes by. All right, are we winning? Cool. Let's just keep trying. All right, did we win? Great. Hey, wow, we won. All right, let's on to the next one. And that's not the right mentality, because at some point that just doesn't work anymore. Teams figure that out really quickly. And, bringing in Vieto at that point to just kind of like force Braga to be a little bit more aware of more of an attacking presence. But that's really it, right? I mean, he can't bring anyone else in. He's not going to bring Thiago Lori. I mean, we would lose our minds with that one, or even Camacho or anybody like that. So I wish he hadn't done it the way he did it, like in that kind of order. But yeah, it's a very conservative, it's a very scared mentality. And it's one that's very easy to make. You don't need to, be a professional coach to make a decision like that. And I think the team is responding in that fashion too.
Steph, was there anyone that's performance stood out to you in either a positive or negative way?
Oh yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm very impressed with Wendell. I think this year will be a good year for him. He's playing phenomenal. He's one of the players that he's shown that he wants to do more, and he's fit. He's strong mentally, and Bruno Fernandes as well. He's playing well. I know Renan he's been getting a lot of negative criticism, but he played well this game. It wasn't his fault to go. We suffered. But then the negative one is Rafinha. I don't know what the hell is going on with Rafinha. I mean, I have no clue. Instead of evolving, he's not really quite there yet. He's gone actually two steps back. He's still very confused in when to shoot the ball, when to dribble. He makes a lot of uh, mistakes when passing the ball. Simple little passes, like 5 meters away passes. He completely gives them away to the opponent in the midfield, which is extremely dangerous because they did counterattack a few times because of his mistakes. So I'm very disappointed with Rafinha. Really, I like him, but you can play at that level. Now my question is to both of you: is Rafinha maybe a player that is good for Guimarães and is good for a Braga, but he's not quite good for a big team like Sporting? Is the pressure mounting to him? What do you guys think?
I think he's unfamiliar with how his right back has been playing just because of lack of chemistry with Thierry Correa. He's only played a couple games with him in his life. I think that, just different sorts of formations definitely confuse him because, we do play a lot of different formations. We do switch it up a lot. I'm not ready to sound the alarm quite yet, but it is concerning the way he's come into the season for sure. His performances have been a bit disheartening and underwhelming. What about you, Nando?
I mean, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I lost you guys there for a second. Um, I think, like you said, I'm going to focus a little bit on the Wendell situation there. I think by far this is going to be like an opportunity for him to showcase what we all probably said when we had Jorge Jesus around. Like, listen, he should have gotten a lot more opportunities. He's an enormous talent, and I think that he fits that box to box midfielder so perfectly. Um, I love watching him play, man. I think that he seems calm on the ball all the time. He just seems like he's willing to go the extra mile. To me, he's definitely somebody to keep watch for the whole year, especially in this game. I think he was one of the top players. You mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, you thought Renan Ribeiro was your man of the match. I kind of agree. Of course, we can't kind of count out Bruno Fernandes and what he does game in and game out at this point. Those are the clear observations in terms of those players in the game right there, man.
What do you guys think of Thierry Correa?
I think it was actually very decent. You can see he's
I like him a
evolving.
lot.
Yeah, his confidence was high, and I like him very much. But to tell the truth, after Vitovsky comes back, Jose is back. He's going to be in trouble. Either Sporting sells Vitovsky or because let's be totally realistic. If you the coach of Sporting, you're gonna go with Rosier and Ritovsky, and most likely Thierry Correia, he'll drop to the under 23.
Yeah, the thing that's been bothering me a bit about Thierry Correa is I think he struggles marking his man. I think he gets caught ball watching a lot on crosses coming in from the opposite side, and his man does win the ball a lot and creates dangerous chances. I don't know if you guys remember towards the end of the Maritimo game, maybe the 75th minute, the shot that hit off the post, the header. I mean, that was his man completely just ball watching, wasn't tracking his man, heads it, hits the post. I mean, we're lucky there. It happened 2 or 3 times in this game as well. I think he needs to tighten up defensively. That's my main criticism of him. But obviously, he's still very young. He's learning. He's only played a couple matches in the first team. And yeah, I kind of agree. Once those two come back healthy, he probably is the odd man out, unfortunately. So, I mean, I expect to see him, as a full-time member of the squad next year for sure. All right, here. So, other observations here. So, I did think that Vieto did show a couple flashes. He was only on the field for about like 8 minutes, roughly. But this is the first time that Kaiser has played him as the lone forward. And maybe it's because he was playing against tired legs, But this is really the first time we've seen him as the true striker in this team. The lone striker. Did his performance leave any impressions, any glimmers of hope for you guys?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I won't take too long. I think he came into the game and he had a very positive impact. Braga couldn't sustain him. They had to foul him. He got 2 yellow cards out of the Braga players, so it put them against the wall. And he came in quite well into the team, and he saved. Actually, he only played a few minutes, like you said, so he burned a lot of time while he was on the pitch because he was being fouled so much. And given the time he was given, to me, that's 2 thumbs up. It was a productive. Those few minutes he was given was very productive. So I think he had a positive impact. So I can't wait to see him play at least a whole second half, or even from the get-go, to see what he has to give us. I mean, Kaiser has to give him a chance. So yeah, I like this performance. That's it.
And I guess the last player to touch on in this game, arguably the most atrocious on the field, both teams, was the one and only Abdoulaye Diaby. What did you guys think of his performance?
Dude, he sucks, man. I was on Twitter reading along, and like he's just so bad. He doesn't bring anything to the table. He's like I don't know, man. We've all hit this guy pretty hard with everything of what we think about him. He kills the game. He doesn't. How do you say it in English? In Portuguese, ele atrapalha na bola, right? He just
he leads the league in times tripped over the ball.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He it's like, oh, there we go again, right? Like there's nothing positive that comes out of him being on the pitch. I can't think of anything positive. I can't think of I'm pretty sure that players are like, go ahead, bud, run at us. I'm okay with you doing that. So yeah, Sporting's got to figure out what to do with that. And then on top of that, he gets a start. He gets a start.
At arguably the position that we have the most depth. Granted, a couple players are injured. Camashu's coming back from injury. Cabal is injured. But that is truly the position that we do have the most depth. There's truly absolutely no reason at this point for him still to be starting. He's terrible. I mean, if we're looking at the goal point ratings here, he got a 3.9. The next closest was Rafinha with 5.1. You rarely see players get below a 4 unless they're sent off in like 20 minutes. So the fact that he played, about 70 minutes and still managed to get a 3.9 is almost impressive.
Well, to me, what bothers me the most is that Kaiser knows that he's not playing well, but he still calls him up and he still gives him the nod to start the game. I'm not getting it. I mean,
hey, do you start to think that has to be, a request from above?
No, I think it's Kaiser.
I think so, because remember when he was purchased, right? Wasn't it with Sintra?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was so excited about saying that man was the fastest guy in Portugal.
Yeah, but Sintra's not there anymore. Yeah. So I don't think. I think it's just Kaiser likes him and he wants to prove to everybody that he's a great player, but he's not. I mean, and everybody sees that. And when we have a player like Plata that was called by his national A team,
Yep.
the A squad,
Ecuador.
Ecuador, right? That's not a shitty team. That's a
Oh,
pretty good, decent team in South America. And how come he doesn't play in our A squad? Are you kidding me? We want to break him in. We want to slow it down, and break him in and bring him up. Are you kidding me? Stop with the fucking bullshit and your theories of fucking. They sound like they want to be so smart, but but we're not being that smart. Look at the under 23 team. They're playing great football. Great football. They demolish ops for nothing. And guess who's playing over there? We have a under 19, first year under 19, Gelson Fernandes. And then we have o Plata. We have o Bruno Rapaz mais novo. We have a bunch of cracks in that under 23. But in the meantime, Diaby gets the nod, and Plata doesn't even get a chance to play in the A squad because Kaiser thinks he needs to break him in. Opa, merda.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. This can only carry on for so long before something has to change in terms of
You
its
gotta
choices.
take a risk. Look at Bruno Lage do Benfica. He took a risk with a bunch of Benfica B players. He took a risk. Guys, he needs to take a risk with the motivated players that want to play, they want to hustle. The players we have now, I mean, they can barely sustain 90 minutes. I mean, you saw yourselves. They threw themselves on the floor after 90 minutes. They were exhausted. I thought they were going to call the ambulance to carry them out of the field.
Yeah, I guess chasing the ball for 45 minutes gets tiring after a while.
Well, that's what they get paid for.
All right. So, does anyone have any final thoughts or anything to add on this game?
The only thing I wanted to add was actually, I didn't answer your question, was about about the substitutions.
Uh-huh.
He just proved that his team is not ready physically for 90 minutes because when you put Neto and you put Eduardo and then you put Vieto and you want to secure the 2-1 because you're afraid of losing Carros todo, Burros todo, he's just showing that you don't trust your team. You're so afraid of losing the game.
terrified.
And yeah, he was terrified. So that was it. Kaiser knows his team is not physically fit for 90 minutes. And that's scaring me.
All right. Anything else, Nando?
Nah, man, I think we all hit it pretty hard, man. It was, it's one of those games like salva e vitória. That's it, man. We won. Good thing it was against Braga too, so at least that's a more direct rival. But team doesn't look good. Had some moments, but it's still not it's not very looking good.
No.
Yeah. The moments did add up to be the best performance. So I'd say about the 20 to 25 good minutes of that game were the best 20 to 25 minutes of the season. So I guess that's glass half full, the way to look at it.
Exactly. At least we played well for 25 minutes, which was a little bit more than against Marítimo, and a lot more against Benfica.
Yeah, it's hard to play worse than that.
So we show progression with the minutes.
All right, so let's move on here to our favorite topic, sporting players and transfer sagas. So the latest one
There
is
should be an actual thing in its own.
a segment.
Yeah, I like that. I like that whole intro.
There's never simple transfers. There's never just 4 mil, he's gone. Okay, there's always got to be a little side theatrics to go along with it. So the latest one here is Bas Dost, who reportedly, so today is Tuesday night. I'm gonna say on Sunday night, it was reported that Sporting and Eintracht Frankfurt had agreed on a deal between 8 and 10 million, with some incentives in there. Maybe 9 plus 2, 8 plus 2, somewhere in that range. So it was reported that they agreed to a deal, and he was going to Eintracht Frankfurt. And then today, the reports are that last minute requests or demands by Bas Dost's agent, this guy Gunther Neuhaus, that he wants, extra commission, he wants extra million bonus or whatever, and that's stalling the deal. And he says his client feels disrespected by Sporting. He's their top scorer. Correia de Manhã had Das Dost in Lágrimas. He's crying about it. So they're all over shit like this. And then Sporting comes out and says just a couple hours ago that it's not true. They have proof that the agent's making last minute demands. It's stalling the deal. So just open it up. What do you guys, think about this whole thing? And who do you think one side's telling the truth? Do you think they're both full of shit? What do you think's going on here?
I mean, does this not start to smell a little familiar to you guys? Like, I hate always being the dude that starts this conversation, but like, where have we seen Sporting accuse or defend, their interests before? Where have we seen empresarios, agents for players, have issues with Sporting before? Where have we seen players, in particular this one, because he's already gone through and given us a lot of shit? Not to say that he didn't have his reasons at the time, but I'm leaving. No, I'm not. I'm coming back. Just kidding. No, I'm leaving. Well, never mind. I'm staying. I mean, to me, it's more than clear. I'm going to take Sporting's side on this. I'm going to believe Sporting on this one. The simple fact that Bas Dost wasn't, I don't know about you guys, but I didn't trust him at the very beginning after the whole academy thing. I didn't trust his intentions. I didn't trust where his head was. I think he took the easy way. We're out at that time. Got himself what he wanted. He stayed. And now he's just pissed off, man. I think he's pissed off that he doesn't have a lot of teams that are better off and more prestigious than the ones that won him. Sporting wants to sell him because he knows that those other leagues are going to give more money. And we're still somewhat trying to do right by him and not right by us. And once again, like you just said when you introduced us to this segment right here, we always have some damn drama when it comes to our players and where they stand as Sporting. And that shit is beyond annoying, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's unbelievable. That's all I gotta say. I mean, we can all agree that Sousa Sintra made a shitty deal with his agent and with Bas Dost. I mean, 6 million. This is how much he makes a year. I mean, 6 million. That's the gross, and then he clean is 3 million in his pocket. So I think that's how much Juan Felix makes in Atletico Madrid. So just to give you a perspective, that we can afford this guy, we just can't. It's that the bottom line is Sporting is struggling financially. They can't sustain this kind of salaries, and then Bas Dost, he should do everything possible to help Sporting in being sold, but he has refused going to the Mexican League, which I understand, the Chinese League, which I understand, but then he refused teams from such as Spain because they were not good enough, so from
Turkey.
Turkey because they were not good enough for him. Turkey is a very competitive league, and now he's making him and his, when they say his agent, that's Bas Dost. Let's not get confused, because if your agent doesn't represent you the way you like it, then you fire him and you get somebody else. So when your agent talks for you, he represents you. So to me, his agent is Bas Dost as well. It's combined together. Because if I say Nando, from now on, he's going to be my manager, I'm allowing Nando to talk on my behalf. Whatever he says, I'm saying, because I gave him consent for such. So let's not be a little bit naive and say, well, Basdos is not doing, it's not him, it's his agent. It's Basdos. He hired his agent. So his agent is being a dick. He's making things even more difficult for Sporting because they know Sporting is in trouble. They're fully aware of what's going on. For the thing is that sucks for Varandas. He can blame Bruno Carvalho on this one because Bruno Carvalho is out of the picture. So now it's totally on him, but at the same time, I don't think it's his fault. I think it's more. I'm with Nando. I think it's more the agent, the Basdos agent, being totally unflexible and taking opportunity of Sporting being weak financially, and he's trying to get more money out of it. So Sporting wants to sell him. The deal was, I think, around 9 million, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I read on the news.
Yeah, something like that. 8 to 10.
So the motherfucker is trying to get 500,000 more or whatever as his commission additionally. So, and he thinks Sporting is incompetent because
Yeah, he
we're
does think that.
struggling financially.
And he
Yeah,
sees the shit that happened with Bruno Fernandes and all these other agents, and every agent is going to continue to ride Spartan as hard as they can.
because we allowed them back in our turf. We invited them.
But hold
Hey,
on,
come
but
back in.
remember back then when we standed firm, where we didn't concede to agent demands, when we did that shit, then fuck it, it was the worst thing in the world. Blah 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 blah. But like
Yeah,
we talked about
but
on last week's podcast, we still managed to sell João Mario for 45 million. So really, we were doing a damn good job holding firm. And
yeah,
now,
but we still had some shitty deals. I mean,
I mean,
let's
we
let's
did,
yeah,
but
yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, like, look at this shit now.
We're still dealing with fucking Alan Ruiz, his brother, even Costa Rican. I'm
Burn,
forgetting his name.
burn.
Brian Ruiz. Yeah. So we're still dealing with those things that came from Bruno Carvalho as well. I mean, he dealt with a few things better, but I mean, there's some stuff lingering around still. But with this thing with Bas Dost, Bas
Let
Dost, Bas Dost, if he really likes Sporting, he would have made the phone call to his fucking agent and say, listen, stop being a dick, make this shit happen. I like the German league. That's a pretty good league. I've been there before. I can speak the language. It's next to the Netherlands. I can just hop on a flight and visit my relatives. So make the deal happen and stop with this shit. He could
I,
he could do that.
I got a question for you guys. I have the comunicado up. There's a interesting point 8 of the comunicado. Sporting says, in Portuguese, sabe Sporting sabe muito bem quem está a colocar e porquê, right? So Sporting knows very much who is creating these news, and why they're doing and putting out these news articles. What do you guys think that means? Who do you think they're referencing? Is that purely agent that you think they're talking about, or do you think there's more to it?
I think it's his agent. And I think that it's his agent because that's just how these things work. I mean, for all our listeners in America, we all know Adrian Wojnarowski, the Woj bomb. Where do these Woj bombs come from? Do they just fall out of thin air? No, the players' agents tell Woj, and then he tweets it out to his 30 million followers, like, Devin Booker's not happy, wants out. Like, where did Woj get that news from? It's from his agent.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
where all these stories and these things come from. So in kind of, I guess, retaliation or in response to Sporting coming out and painting Bas Dost and his agent truthfully as the scumbags in the situation here, they want to come back and they're just basically punching back, trying to, at least muddy the water. So if there's a debate here, they're winning because they're clearly in the wrong. So if we're even debating who's right and wrong, they're winning.
I totally agree. I'm on board with you 100%. Of course, it's his agent. I don't think it's another club. Let's leave our rivals out of this. It's nothing to do with our rivals. It's just that his agent is fucking greedy, wants more money, and he smells blood, and he knows Sporting is really in bad shape financially, so he's taking full advantage at 100% of what's going on at Sporting. And that's shameful because what he's doing is destroying Basdor's reputation. And then it's going to be even more difficult for him to get a decent club in the future.
And you know where this he's demanding 1 million. Do you know where this 1 million number comes from? It's not a random number. Each year, that Bas Dost stays at Sporting as part of the renegotiated deal, this agent gets 500K.
470, yes.
There's 2 years left on Bas Dost's contract. That adds up to 1 million. He
Yeah.
doesn't want Bas Dost out of this contract unless he gets his money.
Yes, exactly. You hit it right on the nail.
And
Greedy motherfucker.
And I don't. I mean, I
And
understand
that's besides his commission. He wants that money plus his commission.
That's like his bonus, basically.
Yes, exactly. So he wants the $1 million he was promised, kind of, quote unquote, plus his commission, which I don't even know how much it is.
Probably about 15 to 20%. It's typically what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, at the same time, it's to me, the fact that Eintracht Frankfurt is even willing to pay 8 to 10 million for this guy after what I've seen from him is, it's a miracle. I don't understand. I guess they think that they can get him back to his old form or whatever. God bless them. But now at the same time, I don't know what kind of money they're going to pay him there. I understand that the German league generates more in TV rights and stuff like that, but is Eintracht Frankfurt really going to pay him more than he's making at Sporting? I just find that hard to believe. He's the highest paid player in the Portuguese league right now.
Yeah, I know he is. I think Bas Dost is a great striker, and if he goes to a team where the coach sees that and uses him, creates a tactic for him, I think he'll be back again and scoring a lot of goals. But at Sporting, he doesn't fit in because they're not playing for him. We could have another striker like him, like Jardel or so on, and he wouldn't score any goals either because they're not playing for him. And I've said that in the last podcast.
All right, so let's just play this situation out to its logical conclusion, hypothetically. So this deal falls through. Eintracht's trying to get the deal done so they can get their whole squad registered in the Europa League. This deal falls through. Bas Dost comes back. Now what?
I'll let you guys go ahead on that one first.
Okay, so now what? Now we have to. So let's make believe it's the 1st of September. The market is closed. Bas Dost stays. Now we have to rebuild his confidence. We have to regain it mentally, physically, and we need to trust his abilities. And Kaiser needs to also be flexible, not always just going with the 4-3-3, but go back to the 4-4-2, and which is a better tactic for Bas Dost. And with a 4-4-2. I think we'll see Bas Dost scoring goals again. That's what I see.
What do you make of a player who just had this whole saga play out in public's attitude is going to be, I guess, being forced to, well, first off, let's take a step back. Do you think Bas Dost wants to leave? Because once again, we have two sides for the story. Sporting says back in May, the beginning of the transfer window, Bas Dost said he wanted out. Bas Dost's side says Sporting's forcing him out. Which one do you think is true?
I don't know. Damn. I'm trying to think of how I want to go about wording that. If you guys want to jump in on that. So, give me that one more time.
So Sporting is saying
that
Bas Dost requested to leave
right
at the end of May, the beginning of the transfer window.
Yep.
He said he wanted out.
Yep.
Bas Dost says that Sporting is forcing him out. And that they're disrespecting him and all that crap.
Fuck. And who do I think is telling the truth of that situation, man?
Do you think Bas Dost actually wants to stay, or do you think he wants to leave?
I mean, I think that I think he wants to leave, but I think this is tough, man, because I think that if he were to get playtime the way he was getting playtime under the tactics that Steph has gone and explained multiple times is the way that he should be played, like he was with Jorge Jesus, I think we'd have no issues absolutely staying at Sporting. However, because he's not getting the play time, everything that happened, and the fact that it's more than obvious that Kaiser refuses or just simply does not know how to incorporate him into the team, I think he's in a weird situation because he knows it's going to be a downgrade for him wherever he goes. He might make a slight bit more money, but his career at that point goes downhill from there. You know what I mean? Like he's at that age where it's not going to go any further up. I mean, he revitalized his career at Sporting. So I think like ideally, I'm sure he'd probably love to wake up in the morning, have a one-on-one with Kaiser, and Kaiser say, "Hey, listen, look, we're going to try to change things up a little bit, give you the opportunity to start playing in your natural position because obviously you have the talent. You've scored a lot of goals here at Sporting." And then I think he would be like, "Wonderful, I would love to stay." However, that's not going to happen. And I think that what he wants is a different team than the ones that have come after him. That's not happening either. And he expects Sporting to sit there and play Virgil Ofendido or some shit and come out and be like, "Oh man, listen, could you stay? We really want you to stay." But no, Sporting's not gonna do that either because you can't sit there and straight handcuff the club and expect them to not do what's best for them when we can't just one thing or another. Something's got to give. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good question. I think it's real tough because I think that he could go either way and either one day to the next, it could all change. But I think he would like to stay, but he realizes he can't stay given the current coach and the current way that they play and how to utilize him.
Steph, anything to add? I got one more hypothetical.
Go ahead.
So let's say Bruno Fernandes and Bas Dost both stay. Sporting are forced to renegotiate Bruno Fernandes' contract. Combined, they're making $11 million a year in salary. Now what?
Now we're in trouble.
Define trouble. What happened?
What happened? What happened is
we sell Acuna. We have to start really making moves here. The windows are closing in a lot of countries. Italy closes the 23rd. That leaves only France, Germany, and that's really about it. I guess the Russians, they have some money. It's a crapshoot at that point, and they're gonna have to get money from somewhere to pay for that shit, right?
Well, I mean, we've been making shitty deals the whole summer to alleviate the financial burden of these crazy salaries, such as the last shitty deal we made was Petrovic. He went for free to Almeria,
second division.
We didn't make one penny of him. The only time we'll make money it's if they get promoted to the first division. So we got to wait until next year and wait to see if they get promoted to see some money for.
How much do you think we get it?
A mil? Idiotic.
I don't even know. The only thing that these fucking newspapers in Portugal they happy to let us know is we're saving a bunch of money with the salary. So the new Sporting way is, hey, as long as we save X amount of money in salaries, we should be happy, even if we don't make no money off the sale. So
it's the Godinho Lopes way.
Yeah, we're in trouble again. We are in so much trouble. We can negotiate for shit. People can smell we are in trouble. So they think they're actually doing us a favor. Okay, I'll take Petrovic for free, and we might give you something if we get promoted. And I'm helping you. Because
most of the deals don't even include a stipulation like that. It's just like, here he is.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been offloading so much great talent just like that.
Mané went for free.
It's unbelievable what's going on with our Sporting. If Bas Dost and Bruno Fernandes stay, to tell you the truth, I mean, I think Sporting will have to make a phone call to Sport TV and to see if they can get some money anticipated from the deal they made of the 500 million they made, and see if they can get an advancement. But I think they've already done that.
Yeah.
Or they have to be realistic and do something like we do in the United States. Stop being so fucking traditional and sell the naming of the stadium, it's just a goddamn name. And sell the name of the pavilion and start thinking outside of the box and start making millions. If you have someone that wants to, like the Lincoln, MetLife, the Giant Stadium, it's called MetLife, am I right? But
Yeah.
everyone still calls it Giant Stadium. And then MetLife pays billions of dollars to have their name as the stadium's name. So why can Sporting do that? In Portugal, they still too retarded, bro. They still think, oh, é uma coisa tradicional, isso não se pode fazer. Ai, meu Deus. Opa, deixem de porcarias, meu. We need money. So if we could sell the naming of the stadium for X amount of years, and someone is willing to pay extra amount of million of dollars or euros, why not? That would solve a lot of problems financially. So Sporting has to think outside the box if they keep being Bas Dost and Lund Fernandes, or else we're going to be in really big trouble, or we need to just accept the reality that maybe a millionaire will buy Sporting, like Manchester United and Arsenal, and fuck it. And I know in Portugal,
that might be the best way to go about this shit, dude. To be quite honest with you, enough with the Bruniches,
Hey, look at
everybody.
Family Cow, man. Things are working out pretty good for them. I guess.
olha
Já
para
depois já não há mais discussion and arguments about which side do you stand on. None of that shit.
Look
Guys
at
got
Paris
money.
Saint-Germain. Yeah, look at clubs with look at Juventus. Look at fucking the ones that they were bought by millionaires. They're doing great. Mas Portugal não quer. Portugal não. A gente não podemos fazer isto. Somos o clube de sócios, caralho. Isto não pode acontecer. E nunca vai acontecer. Because Portugal is Portugal, and we love to live in shit and in tradition, and that's the way it's going to be.
So I just wanted to go back and touch on one of the things that you mentioned there, because it's really been driving me crazy, especially the framing around a lot of this is just the way that the media, I guess they just kind of are bitch boys to what Sporting wants the narrative to be on a lot of these players that are leaving for free, and it's not framed by in terms of how much we're profiting, it's framed in how much we're saving. So it flips a terrible deal and tries to make it seem decent, like, oh, we saved 4 million or whatever. So here's the perfect example, the Petrovic one, the one we just touched on. So let explain to me how this saves money. So Petrovic comes to Sporting in 2016. We pay 1 million. We pay him $1.4 million for 3 years. So that equals $5.2 million total invested in Petrovic since he's been here for 3 years. So we just cut him loose. He has 2 more years on his deal at 1.2 million, and we saved 2.4 million. So 5.2 spent minus savings of 2.4 equals negative 2.8. We lost 2.8 million by signing Petrovic. We didn't save any fucking money. And if you took the time and kind of framed these articles or these news clippings from a different angle, you could see right through them. Because yes, we saved 2.4 million, but overall we lost 2.8 million. Like, there's no savings there, and that's the truth. That's the way that these deals need to be looked at.
The problem is, and you're 100% right, but the problem is, I almost think, I don't know, I don't almost think, I think 100% their intentions. The media has hammered Sporting for well over a decade. I mean, it's gone on for pretty much as long as Sporting hasn't won the title. And I almost take those bullshit, Sporting is saving money and all this bullshit, as their way to now, and with current president and the current state of Sporting, their way of still getting one last word in, their way of still getting one last slap in. Because it's almost embarrassing in its own way. Like to talk about Sporting in the fashion that they talk about in like saving money. It's like Sporting's pobrezinho, Sporting coitadinho, Sporting não pode, Sporting can't do it, Sporting não aguenta. Like, so Sporting is having to save money. Other teams invest, Sporting has to save. So they make light of the situation. They take that situation instead of being like, instead of flat out saying something like, Sporting can't go out and buy the players they want or whatever, Sporting's out of money. They'll just flat out say something like, yeah, like you said, like they're saving money because if they kept him, that would cost them more money But we don't care that in reality it's cost them over 2 million. Done deal. They can't recoup that. They're throwing in their backhands, man, and they're just feeding it to that general population that Steph said that's Portugal, that reads that riles them up, that really hits them at the heart, pulls the strings, and shit's it's pathetic. It's like I had a huge argument with my mom about this past week, and not specifically about that, but just the general narrative, the general media, and how Portugal goes about that shit, dude. And that's a prime example. It's how they spin it and who they're spinning it at, and they just eat it up.
They're almost spinning it for two different factions of people. They're spinning it for the haters, so it's like ha ha ha, like these suckers, like they're saving money. They can't afford fucking Petrovic. Like they just have to cut him loose to save money.
Can't even afford Petrovic. Yep.
And at the same time, they're appeasing the people that actually like this administration, which apparently is a lot of people that are nameless and faceless, but somehow exist. And they're like, yeah, hell yeah, we're saving money. We're out of money. We need to save money. This is a good deal. So it's almost like it functions in two terrible different ways.
Absolutely. It fits the complete narrative of the situation. Like you just hit it, man. You just hit it perfectly. The people that love the administration are like, epa. We understand Sporting has been going through some tough times post Bruno Carvalho. Shit's not right. You got to take some time. Leve tempo. That's my favorite thing from those fans. Leve tempo. This takes time. We got to cut the costs. You know what I mean? We got to have to go through it all over again, and it's fine. That's the right thing to do. And then they appease that other faction, man. It's fucking disgusting.
All right, Steph, any final words on this, general topic before we turn it over to the Twitter questions?
We all know that Sporting is in real trouble. I mean, you get a loan from a millionaire from the United States of America, you're going to have to pay him back. He wants his money back. I mean, he did give you a loan to make money, not to lose money.
Yeah, he doesn't care about Sporting out of the
I'm hoping my Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, goes ahead and just fucking buys them.
He doesn't even know how to spell our club's name. Never mind anything else. And then the banks in Portugal too. They after Sporting, and apparently we owe money to a lot of people. And but we do make a lot of money too. Let's be honest. A club like Sporting makes a lot of money too, and that's what gets to me. Why the fuck do we have nine vice presidents? And in Portugal, for some odd reason, it's normal. When you talk to a Sportingista from Portugal that lives in Lisbon, because they think they know more than we do. Apparently, because they live in Portugal and they have box game and vão ver lá os jogos todos, they're smarter than we are. They see things better than we do, for some fucking reason. It's like they have a PhD do Sporting de Lisboa. And I hate that. I hate when somebody tries to tell me that eu vou a todos os jogos e you say mais esta merda do que tu. I hate that. Because how the fucking Sporting sustain nine vice presidents? That's a lot of salaries, bro.
Bro, we've been sustaining presidents post them leaving.
It's
we're still paying José Peseiro.
I mean, 9 vice presidents, bro. 9 vice presidents. So you have a president and then 9 more dirigents. I don't know what the fuck they do. And then, I mean, go back to the basics. 1 president, 1 vice president, 1 tesoureiro. Simplify things. It's a lot of people feeding off Sporting. A lot of people making money out of Sporting. It's just too many people employed at Sporting. That's what I'm getting into. I mean, I understand that to run a newspaper it takes X amount of people. I do understand that, but I think there's a lot of dead weight at Sporting. A lot of places where we could save money that we don't need these motherfuckers
giving Viana, Eduardo. I mean, the list goes on, dude.
Pá, essas merdas todas, meu, que estão lá só a coletar dinheiro and they're not productive.
Oh, no, é povinho, bro. That shit's so disgusting.
I mean, it's a lot of freeloaders. That's all I'm saying. And it's not only Sporting. I mean, you look at the other Portuguese teams, it's equally the same way. Eu penso que a dirigência é mais, taxa é mais. That's what I wanted to get at. And that's it.
Okay, Cool, man. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, man.
Okay. All right. So let's just hop right into these Twitter questions. We got some decent contributions this week. All right. So let's start it off with David Claudio, David Strafe, 35. 35. Sorry. What are your thoughts about these players? Giovanni Simeone, Justin Kluivert, Osama Idrissi, and if any of them would be a good player for Sporting. Nando, let's start it off with you. Any thoughts on any of those guys?
Just Justin Kluivert. I've been following him quite a bit. I really like everything I see in him, and I think he'd be
Wait,
perfect.
who it cut out a little bit?
Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, just a
Yeah,
player.
yeah. Justin, I'll talk about Justin Kluivert.
Okay.
The other two, I'm not very familiar. I haven't spent too much time, following them. But Kluivert for sure. I mean, obviously his father speaks for him. The name speaks for itself. But he's young, talented, and has tons of ambition. I think he'd be perfect for Sporting, a guy that we can actually, hopefully play and see grow. But I haven't heard us tied to any of these dudes, to be honest.
What position does he predominantly play?
Kluivert.
Yeah.
Kluivert usually, from what I've known, where's he at now in Italy, right?
Yeah, I honestly, this is the one player who I saw people talking about it.
I think he's at Lazio. No, not Lazio. Is he? No, Roma. He's at Roma now. That's right.
I honestly never see this.
He plays striker mostly. Like, it's got him like you pulling up their left wing.
So
right
this would
wing.
be alone. This would be alone looking at that market value.
Oh, of course. Like, these dudes are young and already got, tons of potential, but not for Spartan's current situation. But yeah, alone, it'd be good to see him come over and revitalize a little bit. But
all right, so I looked into Osama Idrissi when I saw that we were linked to him. He plays wing as well. He actually has had a decent start to this season. He's already scored 3 goals in 3 appearances, as you can see there, and a goal in 4 appearances in Europa League qualifying. So he's already played 7 games this season, scored 4 goals, not a bad record. He's young still, 23, and market value lists him about 5 million euros. AZ Alkmaar wants 10. I don't see that happening. I don't really think that we need any more wingers. The position that I wish we would address before we address winger is striker. I think we needed another striker before we need another winger. So I think that's more what Simeone plays. But even if Basdov stays, we still need another striker. If he leaves, we need 2. So I just wish that we were, linked to more strikers because I think that's the position that we need to address the most here. All right, so let's move on to Alcochete Youth at Alcochete Youth, formerly Sporting CPY. Do you think Basdos will leave us, maybe to another club if Frankfurt wouldn't pay what he wants? Another question, do we need another signing or do we just need a new coach? Steph, what do you think? Do you think another team hops in if Frankfurt falls out of the race here?
It's a possibility. I mean, we did beat the horse on this one. So pretty much we answered that question. But, about the coaching, the second question of Alcochete Youth, it's interesting because we did speak about it. I mean, I think there's a lack of communication between the upper management and Kaiser, and we've seen that time to time when he gives his flash interviews, Kaiser. So I wouldn't be surprised if they replace him with another coach. It all depends how well we play against Portimonense, and we take advantage that there's a Benfica Porto this upcoming weekend, and we take advantage of one of them slipping and gaining some ground on them. So we'll see. We'll see. So, and that's it.
Yep. I was very team give Kaiser more of a chance because people were, jumping on him as early as January of last year. I advocated for, giving him a chance. I kind of like some of the stuff he played, down the stretch last season. But, as time goes on and on, I, become more wary of, what his long-term potential is here. I'm I'm very, very unconvinced, to say the least. All right, here. So next question, Nuno Gabriel, Cata Valence. What are your thoughts on Seba Kawat's performance lately? Is it just me, or has he been a bit sloppy lately? I think he was trying to assist Braga on a couple goals on Sunday. Nando, what do you think about that?
I don't really have too many negatives to say on Kawats, man. I think, like Josie Pereira said, right in response to that, he's a very aggressive center back. He's going to play the ball and the player very extreme. So, like, those kind of players are bound to have one get past them. But they're also going to be the guys that are going to stop and make that cut or that clear more often than not. So I've never had any issues with Coates, man. If anything, I've had some more concerns with Mathieu lately. I just feel like he's been a little tiring to watch. He seems a little out of it, but that could again get back to the whole like not just being in shape or his age. I don't know, but I don't have any issues with Coates, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually thought he played well against Braga. There was that one play, I think it was actually on the goal, where he like weirdly ducked out of the way of the ball that of the what initially became the shot that came off the post, and then Eduardo hit it in. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any problem with Coates. I think he was, among the top four on the field. Next question here from Joel da Silva at João Leão 073. All right, he's got a little message here.
Yeah, I read the whole thing. So if you want to save some time,
I'll just read it out just so that
okay.
people only on audio can know what it says. This is not so much a question, but more of a thought I have. But how concerned are you about Sporting's international reputation and image? Thinking here about Bas Doss' situation, Alan Ruiz's dad coming forward to say that coming to Sporting was a mistake, the recycling of managers and staff, the way our youth is treated, and finally the attack on the academy. Considering all this, should we be concerned about losing potential players and youth prospects because of our bad reputation? Steph?
Okay, so basically, what he's saying it's a load of crap because Alain Ruiz he had a chance to prove himself and he didn't. I mean, he played well, I think, a year and a half under JJ. Then after that, he showed no interest in playing football. He was lazy, didn't play defense. So his father can go fuck himself. For all I'm concerned, because we paid him every single penny. We never, defaulted on his salary. He's the one. His son is the one at fault. He didn't want to play and all that. Now concerning the bus
Just to
situation,
add, we even brought his fucking shitty brother, too.
yeah, exactly. His brother came along in a package deal. Um, uh, Bazda's situation has nothing to do with Alan Ruiz and his father. I don't even know why they bring it up. I think Sousa Cinto fucked up on Bazdas. Rescinded his contract. We should have let him go, and that's it. Because to make a deal like that now we're struggling to sell him, it's really fucked up. And then the what's going on with the youth nowadays? It's actually it's pretty bad, but it's not only going on in Sporting. I've seen Porto losing players. I've seen Benfica losing players. It goes in every club because it's impossible to sign every young player we have in our academy. It's impossible. We will lose certain players. I mean, we signed up this summer over 20 something professional contracts in our youth academy. So, you need to look at the whole picture. And then you see, o Porto também perdeu jogadores, o Benfica também perdeu, o Atlético Madrid também perdeu, a Ajax também perdeu. So it's not a common thing that's going on at Sporting. It's a phenomenon that's going on worldwide. And why? Because now there's clubs that they going as low as 12 years old. Oh, this guy's going to be a good prospect, so let's buy him now. We hear it all the time. Barcelona investing on youth players. Real Madrid going to this club and buying a 12-year-old player. So it's not only at Sporting that's going on. If we just analyze things carefully and we look into things, then we realize this is not only going on in our club; it's going on in every club. It's just impossible to sign everybody. And then some players, their agents, they don't have the patience to wait until they good to go for an adventure overseas to a bigger club. They want to make the deal now. And then if I was back a little bit with some players like Camacho, he went to Liverpool, didn't quite work out. He's back at Sporting. Lori, it didn't work out for him, and he came back to Sporting, which that was a mistake by Sporting. Shouldn't have come back. All I'm saying is it's not totally the fault of Sporting, because Bruno Carvalho also lost some youth players. It's just impossible to sign them all.
Yeah, I agree. I just think overall, Sporting's known for its academy and the players that it produces, and it takes a lot of pride in that. And I can see the frustration that some people feel when we see complete bums getting regular minutes like Diaby, and then we see very capable wingers playing for the U23 team, including a
Agreed on
literal
that.
16-year-old who's better
Yeah.
than Diaby, who's 12 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's just like if you're like you just said, if you're a 12-year-old, and you're a Portuguese 12-year-old who lives, let's just say you live in Leiria, you live between Porto and Lisbon, so all the big three are equally distant. Where do you go? Do you go to Porto? Do you go to Benfica? You go to Sporting? Where do you like your chances of succeeding the most and getting into the first team at a young age? And honestly, I don't think the answer right now is Sporting. I think we're in third place in that conversation, to be honest. Even Porto, I mean, their team is also kind of shit this year, but a lot of those players who just won the UEFA Youth League are getting regular minutes. And we have a lot of young players, and not too many of them are getting minutes. So I understand the frustration, and our academy is world renowned. So in order to keep up that reputation, you need to get the prospects into the first team, and then they go abroad for the big money, and that's kind of the business model. So if that's not happening, it kind of detracts from that. Let's see here what else we've got. Josie Pereira at Pereira 4785. How does everyone feel about Acuna playing left back while Borja sits on the bench and Diaby starts? Is Borja recovering from an injury? Not that I'm aware of. Is there a position anyone feels we need to upgrade? Nando, what do you think about that?
I fucking hate watching Diaby start, and that's a clear position where Acuna playing up, right, which was his natural position, and we've turned him, or JJ turned him into a left back, and letting Borja, play would be the natural, clear upgrade. And in that side of the pitch, man, it just is the logical, obvious thing to do. And like you said earlier, where Diaby plays is where we really have more of a surplus of players for that position. You know what I mean? So that we don't need really an upgrade there. Is there a position anyone feels we need an upgrade? Is striker. We still don't know what we're going to do about Dost, and we still don't have a clear striker. So we still need to figure that situation out.
And we have just no depth at the position as well. Yeah, it's frustrating. I definitely feel like striker's the one where we need the most. So next question, Kevin K. Fernandez, 1906. What are your opinions on the winger positions? Who should be starting next game, and do we need another signing, considering it's probably one of our weaker positions? Steph, what do you think of that?
I think the winger positions. I was expecting more from Giovanni. I know he's hurt now. I was expecting more from Rafinha. Totally disappointed with him. Totally disappointed with him. This year should be his breakout year. So if he's thinking about going to a bigger club in Europe, it's not going to happen, because he's actually going back 5 steps instead of evolving. But I want to see Plata. I want him to get a shot at the as a winger in our club, in our A squad. I want to see as well Fernandes, Joelson Fernandes. Why not? If we see that Rafinha is not productive. Uh, Giovanni is not being productive. Camacho is not going to be productive. Acuna is not a winger. Acuna is his natural position is left fullback. That's why he performs the best because he can run that corridor back and forth. Borja is actually his backup, to tell the truth. On the left wing, it shouldn't be Acuna at all. That's not where he belongs. We need someone explosive, like maybe Camacho. Let's see, let's give him a shot, or maybe Jovan Cabral. So, with that said, if those cats don't deliver, you have to go to the under 23 team and you have to give Plata a chance. You have to give Gelson Fernandez a chance. And I don't care how old they are, if they're 18 or 16, whatever. I want them to get a chance. Give them a chance in the Taça Portugal, give them a chance in the Taça da Liga, but give them a chance. When you call them for practice with the senior team with the A squad, it's not the same as playing the game. And imagine these guys, if they're pretty good in the under 23 team, if they play with the Bruno Fernandes that passes the ball like it's cake. Here it is, just score. These players will excel, will be phenomenal playing next to a Bruno Fernandes. You know what I mean? So, and that's all I gotta say about the wingers.
Okay. And then the last question here from Johnny Singedu at Johnny Singedu. Thoughts on Giovanni Simeone being linked to us? I'll just go ahead and answer that one. Yeah, I mean, my standards for any sort of player that we bring in at striker are incredibly low. Even if we do sign a striker, I feel like it's just going to be like some Castaños type shit. I really have little expectations. So I mean, a player like Simeone, on loan, banged in some goals last year for Fiorentina. That'd be great. Do I think it's gonna happen? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, if that's something that happens, totally down for it, because what I actually think we're gonna get at striker is gonna be far shittier than that. All right. So, and that is the end of the questions. Appreciate everyone, as always, for sending those in. And I guess here, do we have any other loose ends to tie up here before we wrap it up? Anyone?
Just
We can talk about the game this weekend.
yeah, really fast, and then we can talk about the modalities really
Yep.
fast.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, do you want to do the medallions first, Steph, or do you want to do Portimao?
Yeah, I'll do modalities really fast. It won't take too
Okay.
long. So in the Viseu tournament international cup, we won against our handball team once against Valladolid 37-29, and then like always we choked against Benfica 22-21. We do have a better team, but we started the game really well. I was watching it at home on the Sporting TV, and then. And then they got the best out of us, and we lost 22-21. Nevertheless, it was a good test, preseason test, but we lost. And then Ciclismo, we finished as a team in third place, and that's it. No more Sporting Tevira. That modality is gone. So Varandes lied to us one more time. He said he wouldn't kill any modalities. He just killed Ciclismo. Then we had a couple very interesting results. Sporting tied at Alverca for the under 19 1-1. Considering that we were losing until the very end and we tied at the end, that's a pretty awesome result. Alverca, they do have some amazing players from Brazil. So they're not a shitty team like people think they are. And playing at Alverca, it's close to my hometown. It's very tough. They have a small pitch. Sporting and then the under 23, we won 4-0 against the champion Aves, which was an awesome result. We were playing some great football. I watched the second half. We have a pretty good team. So whenever Kaiser needs some reinforcements, he should look at the under 23. The senior ladies They won 1-0 against Sevilla. That's an awesome result. That's a pretty good team, Sevilla. So good game by our ladies. Futebol de Praia. Portugal won the Mundialito 4-2 against Spain in the final. That's awesome for our. We had 4 of our players playing in that national team. Then Sporting for the Taça de Portugal, Portuguese Cup, and Futebol Praia. They won 5-0 against Alfarim. And then futsal, we won 5-2 at home against Jane FS of Spain in the Strumped Trophy. So we kept our own trophy at home. That was like of a presentation game for the fans, associates, and the pavilion was almost full capacity. And now the team is looking pretty good. So the first official game will be against Sporting Lisboa Benfica on the 30th of August for the Super Cup. So it should be an interesting game. And basically, that's it. That's all I got.
And basketball started preseason today for all those that are interested, which I know a lot of us are pretty excited for, especially a lot of us Americans that like basketball.
Yes, sir.
Definitely really excited to see what the basketball team does this season.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it should be a better competitive league. Now we're going to have Sporting, Porto, Benfica, and Oliveirense. They're always good teams. Yeah,
we did take Oliveirense's best player, but I expect them to still be competitive.
A couple best players. Oliveirense won't look the same anymore.
Yeah, they're the defending champions. All right, so let's get into our predictions for the game against Portimonense this Sunday, 1:30 Eastern Time, 6:30 Portuguese time, another good old Sunday night game. We have those every fucking week. Feel bad for the people in Portugal, especially Sporting fans that travel down to the Algarve, not the closest trip. So what are we expecting? Portimão also has four points, so they're right up there with us. Porto has 3, and they're playing Benfica, who has 6. So, Porto could find themselves in some trouble if they lose 2 out of the first 3 games, so that'll be interesting. What do we think about a good Portimonense team that is coming off a win on the road against Tondela this past yesterday? Steph, what do you think?
I think they have a great coach. Folha comes from the Porto schools. Yeah, the raça, humildade. He understands the Portuguese league quite well, and his team is playing to his image at Porto. So I'm expecting a very difficult game, but this is the perfect opportunity for Kaiser and our Sporting team to shut us up, to shut everybody up. I mean, I want Sporting to be champion of Portugal. Don't get me wrong. I want in Maio Sporting seja campeão. And I hope I swallow every word I'm saying today that's negative. But if we don't go over there and we play our hearts out and we don't play at 100%, we're not going to win. There's no fucking way we're going to win. So we have to be determined from the get-go, from the very beginning, decisive, and take advantage. There's a Clásico, Benfica Porto, and take advantage that we can gain ground on both of our opponents. I hope they tie, actually. If they tie, we gain 2 points on Benfica, and we gain 2 more points on Porto. So that's my wish, and I'm gonna be positive this time. No, I'll be positive. I think we win. I'm so confused. I think we'll win 2-1, todos cagados e mejados. My hope it's 3-0 and a well-played game, but I think we'll win 2-1, todos cagados e mejados.
Nando, what do you think?
I'm trying to take a page out of Steph's book here and be positive. I'm really trying, bro. It's so damn hard. I definitely want Benfica and Porto to tie. That's the clear result there. They can both fuck themselves and not be happy. And then we gain ground on both of them. I'm scared it's a trap game. I'm scared that every single time that Sporting has an opportunity to do well compared to a rival screwing up, we don't do well. And that's my concern. It's that history. It's that back of the mind thing. I think the players psychologically know it. However, fuck it, man. If we can't go into Portimonense and like win, one way or another, we are in some deep shit. Now, granted, Portimonense has won the first two games, right? They're right.
Win and draw.
One and draw. That's right. I'm sorry. They got 4 points. Yeah, you're right. We're fourth. They're fifth. So, for what it's worth, 2 games so far this season, they're doing really well. But like Steph said, man, we got to go in there and win one way or another. I don't give a damn if it's handball and it's I don't care. Just get the damn game win, and that's that. I think we'll win 1-0.
I think really fast. All I gotta say is, if you want to be campeão Portugal, you have to win against Portimonense.
You have to win these games.
Yeah, have to. If you don't win against Portimonense, I don't.
But and the thing is, we're so sad. We're so used to just being like, é jogo fora. Os portuguistas will say é longe, dá Alvalade.
É Portimonense, é uma equipa forte. Vai te foder.
Well, dude, I can already see my dad. Like, I'm not even going to talk to him about it because he'll be like, tu estás esquecido, Portimonense está em quinto lugar. I'll be like, get the hell out of here with that. But that's what they'll say.
We're so good in coming up with excuses. It's unbelievable. Oh, my God.
All right, so I just want to remind you guys, at this exact stadium last season, Portimonense beat Benfica, and they beat us 4-1. They fucking demolished us.
Yes, they did.
Salin hit the head on the post. Coates had to give him mouth-to-mouth on the field. It was that fucked up game. So not an easy place to play. Obviously, a good team. I guess my prediction for the Porto game first, I think that Porto is going to get absolutely waxed. I got Benfica 3-0.
Wow.
They're going to get, I think that they're going to get dismantled.
Your father's influencing you.
I just call it the balls and strikes, man. And
where's the game at for that, by the way?
It's
not lose.
Oh yeah, I'd probably say Benfica wins that one too. Honestly,
no, I think seriously, I think Sergio Conceição he's going to be cautious, and he's not going to just go over there and play face to face. I think he's
because he can't subject himself, to be quite honest, a pretty early season separation like that, because they're already 2 points back.
Yeah.
No, they lost.
No, 3 points back.
They'd be 6 already.
3 points back because they lost the first game of the season. Then right, so you don't want to go 6 points back 3 games in.
Yeah, that's really bad.
I don't think Porto will lose. Actually,
think they win?
I don't think they win.
No, I don't think. I think it'll be a tie.
Tie. I mean, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, me too. But I'll be happy if Sporting wins at Portimonense, which I don't know if they will.
Yeah, I think that realistically, I think we probably draw 1-1. I'd like to see us scrape a 1-0 win. Maybe. I mean, a convincing performance would be great, but I'm not really sure that I expect that. And I hope that Vietu starts up top.
And listen, I mean, nothing for nothing, but Sporting today, they were practicing really hard. You know what I mean?
Wendell was tweeting at 4 a.m. last night because they didn't have training today.
They fucking had a day
I was seeing his tweets at like 9 p.m. or like 10 p.m. Here, and it's like, this guy's still fucking awake. Oh, they have vacation tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what? Vamos gozar com o caralho, man.
All right, guys. Anything else? Any final thoughts here?
No, I'm gonna take a day off tomorrow too. Fuck it.
Nando, anything else, man?
No, man. I think we hit it all, man. I think we both can say we're pretty freaking tired of always having to hit these topics over and over again. But that's the way it is these days, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Nando, Chris, do me a favor. I'm giving you a day off tomorrow.
Tell my boss that.
No, bro, I know, and I gotta go. I'll be in at 7. Damn it.
I'll tell both of your bosses. Listen, these guys are fucking stressful. They need a day off.
Dude, you know what's funny is like I probably talk more about, so everybody knows my teams of affiliations or whatever, but Sporting, I go around all work. Like I see this dude who works beside me and he's a Liverpool fan, and I'm like constantly just giving him shit and just talking to him and just reminding him like Sporting, this, that, and the other, and it's like, bro, like I'm tired of just being stressed out about Sporting.
Yeah, well, I
Tired of it.
mean,
It's a sport, but it's a love of ours. You know what I mean? It's a passion of ours.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
something that we do because we love it, not because we have to do it. But at the same time, it's like there's too many things that are consistently happening, and it's just a repetitive nature of it that shit's gotten old real quick.
yeah.
To
It
tell you,
takes a
yeah,
toll.
yeah, and I'm gonna finish like this, and I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm gonna be admitting something that you guys are not gonna believe, but I will admit it. Sporting Clube de Portugal is considered one of the big three in Portugal because of the history we have. It's
Yup.
not because of our football team lately, because our
No.
football team, we haven't been one of the big teams for a while now. Let's not be foolish.
Even
Let's
for the
be
beginning, I mean, we weren't really truly like we were much better than now, but we always
on.
had more to it than just football.
It's been a two-team league for 30, 40 years.
Yeah, indeed. So the thing that kept us the status of a big team in Portugal, it's our modalities. To tell the truth, our modalities they kept Sporting at the top of being one of the big threes in Portugal. Futsal and ball, volleyball. Lately volleyball. You know, they the ones we say atletismo. They the ones we have to say thank you to, because our football teams they've been garbage, totally garbage, and I hate to hear that from our opponents, but it is the truth. Winning a Portuguese league, a cup league, or Taça Portugal doesn't cut it.
No, not if you want to be considered, on par with, best teams in Europe. So,
Nope, you're right. Y pronto,
uh,
yeah, eso.
all right, boys. Appreciate you guys. All listeners, thanks as always. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some good news.
Yes, sir.
Transfer window will be a week closer to closing. We'll have some more clarity on that, and we'll hopefully have a game that didn't suck to break down. So as always, appreciate you guys, and Viva Sporting.
Viva
Viva,
Sporting.
viva Sporting.